Do you like wrestling trivia? Then check out the 5-Star Match Game, the Pro Wrestling Quiz Show. I'm Joe Gagney, and every episode, I grill 3 contestants with 5 rounds of power-packed wrestling trivia. We have over 30 evergreen episodes in the archives covering WWE, AEW, Japan, Mexico, and much, 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 much more. Play along at home and check it out today.
Hey everybody, my name is Jesse Collins, and I want to tell you all about my show, the Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast, here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network. On the Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast, we do a thorough analysis on the biggest issues and trends within the pro wrestling industry. We talk a lot about pro wrestling media, we talk a lot about fan culture and wrestling's place within general pop culture, and we talk about the broader influences that are shaping the way we discuss and analyze the pro wrestling industry. We've had some of the brightest minds in the pro wrestling intelligentsia on the show, including WrestleNomics host Brandon Thurston, both Rich Craich and Joe Lanza from the Flagship Wrestling Podcast, Trevor Dame from the Through the Years podcast, and a whole lot more. This isn't a show for hot takes. It's not a show recapping the latest episode of television. This is a show focusing on the biggest topics in pro wrestling and doing a deep dive on the real stories behind the surface level analysis you might find elsewhere. The Gentleman's Wrestling Podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts, and we'd really appreciate it if you gave us a try. Thanks.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast. I'm Joel, joined by Damon McDonald. It is Wednesday the 6th of March 2024. It's episode 300. Let's break out the cocaine, Damon. I'm doing cocaine everywhere.
Let's do it. Chop them up. Let's go. Chop up the lines. Fill in the little gaps in your credit card, kids. Save it for later. You can always lick that card later. And let's party it up with 300 Super J-Cast episodes in the bag. Thanks for joining us for the ride. We have absolutely nothing planned for the celebratory event other than apparently simulated drug use and...
Well, you'll remember last time we spoke that to celebrate this auspicious day, we invited the listeners to send in their favourite moments of the Super J-Cast over the last 299 shows. What were your highs? What were your lows? Favourite memories? Little stories, anecdotes. And you would be stunned, Damon, about the amount of correspondence we've got in response to that. Do you know how many people have written in?
I'm going to say 0.
Yeah, it's none.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. That doesn't shock me at all, actually. It's probably pretty accurate of the memories that they have. They'll just take. Here's what it is. People are just lazy, even if they did have it. It's probably easier to bang it out in a tweet. But even then, whatever. I don't doubt it. But by the way, I barely remember the last show we did, let alone like 218. Let me ask you then, what has been your favorite Super J-Cast moment? Let's ask you, the expert.
What is that a moment whilst recording a show, or could it be a moment?
It can be outside of it, but we're talking about the show. But whatever you want to take.
Meetups for me, like the karaoke before Madison Square Garden.
Oh, wasn't it fun?
That whole day actually was very special to me.
Yeah, that ruled. Madison Square Garden was a great day. That was a great day. I was going to say my favorite episode bit was the Kenny Omega fan fiction.
Yes, yeah, episode 97. If you know, you know. If you haven't listened to it yet, if you're a newer listener, go back and check it out because that's our finest work. And if ever I'm having a bad day, I'll listen to that Pyro at Coroquin Hall, and it always makes me laugh every single time.
It really does. And then somebody wrote a little fan fiction about us, and we learned a little lesson. What else? Oh, yes. Of course, the meetups outside of fucking Tokyo Dome, of course, outside Cork and TGI Fridays, all that stuff. Meeting everybody, always a fun time. But yeah,
The pre-Copper Box meetups have been great as well. I know, obviously, you weren't there, but just before the was it the Rev Pro show and before Royal Quest 3, those were amazing. It's just those opportunities where we get to actually meet up with people and have a drink and a bite to eat and share our lovely memories.
yes. How about Dan getting the little altercation with Michael Craven?
Yes, yeah, that's an all-timer.
That's an all-timer. Absolutely. That might be. Boy, is it? It's got to be it's neck and neck. I'll never forget watching that show at home on TV and my phone ringing from
text.
my phone ringing from an obviously outside the United States phone number, and it kept you get spam calls and shit, and then I kind of recognized the number, but I wasn't sure, and then it rang again, and then it rang again. Like the third time, I was like, something's fucking up, and it was Dan. Mate, you're not gonna believe this one.
I've just been assaulted by a member of their New Japan Pro Wrestling office.
Dan, all he wanted was a cigarette.
And it wasn't one that handcuffed me to guardrails and tried to get a count-out victory. It was another one.
I got you. I heard you did a little side quest once again with the great John Carroll, right? On his Omakase podcast.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Yeah, we did some New Japan Cup, or New Japan Puck, as I should say,
yes.
Pick'ems. And so currently 0-3 for my Pick'ems there. So I'm going to go in a different direction today. Because I fucked up the timing again with this, because I don't know what is going on with my brain, but I put out the tweet yesterday, being like, yeah, we're going to preview the anniversary show, we're going to do our Pick'ems. And then I realised, hang on a second, the anniversary show, it's going to happen in about an hour. So I think arguably it's better doing it this way, because we can react to the big news that's happened from the anniversary show, which you said like about 30 seconds before we hit record. Did you see that fucking show? Oh my God. So excited to talk about that one. But we'll be doing Pick'ems for about 80% of the brackets, with some of it already filled in, which is better, because it's better and I like it.
Okay, I'm fine with it either way. I believe last time I checked, I think I'm 2-1 on my picks. And again, we did the Chris Samsa. How every year he does a great job with the pick'ems, and it's really nice how he does it. And you can kind of take a little screenshot of your picks and everything, or log back in. And Chris, what a great dude! Have you ever met him? Did you ever meet him?
Not in person, no.
He's again, I've said it 1,000 times, one of the nicest guys, coolest guys, and I swear to God, one of the most handsome guys.
Does he smell good?
Smelled pretty good. I'm not gonna lie too. Not gonna lie. I'm like, this fucking guy, and he, his band Plunkett. He's a very it's a pop punk band. Very I dig it.
Well, Damon, if I had some money to spend on tickets for his band, I would plunk it down on the table.
Boom. Yeah, he's a handsome dude. He's living the life. Mr. Stats guy. Helped me with my sobriety. Yeah, good dude, real good dude. But yeah, that's where we did ours. So we'll talk about it. Yeah, and I think I got one loss so far. So we'll talk about that. But you tell me, where do you want to start?
I was showing a science video to my class in school the other week, and the little sort of jingle that started it was the one that went. It was the same jingle that Andrew Ritchie's when he made our Kenny's Done a Thing stinger.
Oh.
So that brought back a real wave of nostalgia, all those lovely jingles that Andrew made for us. And unfortunately, most of the people they were about have left the company. But I'm going to dig those out. I think we can reintegrate them. Yeah, I think so. Because, I just suddenly remembered those and thought, that was a good time.
That's a guy. That's another guy, another great guy. I haven't talked to in a while.
No, not as active on social media as before, which is a good choice because nobody should be active on social media.
I'm 1,000%. So, speaking of which, in my year of hell, I'm not even going to tell the story, and I'm not pulling back on telling the story because it's like I'm hiding information. It's literally the most boring story in the entire free world. Like, I just went. Nobody's going to give a fuck. But yeah, just don't go on social media. Don't post on social media. Actually, the only people that are allowed to post on social media is Joel, because your posts are always fucking top notch. Andrew Rich, always top notch, but again, pulling back wisely. How about one more? Do you want one more? How about I don't know. I don't follow anybody.
Chris Samsa?
All right, Chris, but Chris doesn't really post all that much, does he?
He posts very useful stats and
he does. Okay,
stuff like that.
I don't follow anybody. I don't even have an account. Okay,
Booze is a very good tweeter. She managed to ruin a lot of Christmases.
Yeah, that's true too. All right, now listen. You know what I was going to say? If given the opportunity, would you take that all back? And I wouldn't. I think we did the right thing. We were in the right, and I don't give a fuck who we pissed off in the process. Don't care. Do not care.
Speaking of our many Twitter enemies, we're not going to mention this one directly, but Aramitha says, seeing as how even awful wrestling magazines are getting bought out, how much will it take to buy the Super J car? So what would the offer have to be for someone to say, right, we want to buy this, you're not allowed to do the show anymore, we're just going to buy the Super J Cars franchise, the logo, the branding, the back catalogue, how much we selling it for?
All right, so I'm going to try and make this as realistic as possible. If by some wacky chance somebody dropped acid in New Japan Pro Wrestling's offices and we're like, okay, I got a harebrained idea, let's buy Super J-Cast and have them produce content for us, that would be really the only way I would sell it, because I would still want to do something, right? Now, if it's to buy us out and us to just go away and never talk about pro wrestling again, I mean, I don't think there's any value, but I would. What do you think? $5,000 each?
I'll do it for a bag of crisps and a cool T-shirt.
Yeah, okay. I'll do it for an autographed 8x10 Riley Reid and a fresh pair of socks.
I mean, we'll have to just sort of come back the next week under a different branding, like the Super D-Cast.
No. We have to go away. Like, literally find a new hobby, and we could talk about that, but we can't talk about pro wrestling. $5,000 or 5,000 pounds. Yeah.
Yep, sold.
Yeah. All right, people. Pony up.
So if anyone wants to start a GoFundMe, to just get us off the airwaves, then
yeah, I mean, it's easy as that. But where would everybody get their scoops? Where would everybody get their news? Where would everybody get the Discord chatter? Where would anyone delete Discord posts? where? How we provide a service?
Anyone upset locker rooms for that?
Right. We are a hub. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but Jesus Christ.
No, you don't. You love to say it.
I do love to say it. I say it every fucking week. They're like, we get it. But it's the only thing that makes me happy. It's the only joy I get out of this, people. Please. It's certainly not watching these horseshit shows. This communication, this time that I have every week that I get. Let's be very clear here. I speak to Joel more than I speak to anyone in my family. Let me be very clear on that. I speak to Joel more than I speak to just about anyone else.
I think I probably speak to you more than I speak to my wife. If I sort of strung together all the conversations I had with Mally in the space of a week, I'm not sure it would exceed 2 hours, because it's mainly just very functional things like,
Yes. Yep.
oh, can you brush the children's teeth, or
Right.
what's for dinner?
Yeah. I think this week, though, was more, I went down to Mexico. What a time. What a lovely wedding. If you ever get married, people, that's a place to do it. Beautiful resort, swimming
food?
pool. The food. Oh my God, dude! They had this braised beef that knocked my socks off, man. It was it just melted in my mouth. I couldn't believe how good it was. The fresh. I'm going to mispronounce it because I'm a fucking idiot. Cerviche, is it what I'm talking about? The fish and the a little. Oh my God, so good, and obviously the jalapeno, the spiciness, and just fantastic margaritas. I only had a couple. I was really here's a shocker. I probably had. I'm being fair. Like per day, like maybe 2 margaritas total in a day. Whereas before, I mean, I fucking drink for hours. No, I did a lot more swimming. I will say this. I went into the ocean, into the Gulf of Mexico, right? Something bit me. And I have this fucking thing on my arm that is pretty gross. Do you want me to take a picture and send it to you?
Absolutely not.
Oh, no, good. Yeah, something stung me. Something hit me. I don't know. I felt the bite. I was like, what the fuck was that? And then my arm started stinging a bit, but I was like, all right, whatever. I mean, what am I going to do? And then later in the day, it was like fucking. Ugh. So I probably I'm saying I beat up a stingray. That's what I'm saying. That's the story I'm going.
The same thing happened to Mally. This was just very early into the Esther pregnancy. We're on holiday in Sanya in China, and we're swimming, and she got just like very light sting from probably a jellyfish or something. Yeah. And then for the rest of the holiday, she's just completely freaking out, just like Googling stuff like what happens if you get stung by a jellyfish when you're pregnant. Like, I don't know what she's expecting it to be like, oh, your child's going to turn into Squiddly Diddly or something. But
congratulations, ma'am. You gave birth to SpongeBob.
But, fortunately, Esther's fine. It was
good. Yes. Yes. Watch her be like this super genius. She has like these superpowers now. Like she's going to be like 12 and she's going to be like moving furniture with her eyes. Watch that happen. Or she'll swim really fast. She'll be like Aqua Girl. And she'll be able to communicate with sea life to solve crimes. Oh, this is good. Your kids are
if there's some way for me to monetize that, then I will support that.
I know. I'm looking for anything I can do to monetize anything I can at this point. You want to hear about my new obsession before we talk about wrestling? So back in the day, there was this, the card game Magic, if I say that.
Yeah. I used to collect those cards and play it a little bit.
Okay. So I never really liked the theme of it, like the wizardry of it. Like I've never given a fuck about that. But there have been other variations with different themes, but think of Magic is what I'm saying. But this was it revolved around vampires, and the original version was called Jihad, but obviously it's been rebranded. And I think the Vampire, the Masquerade, or something like that, or whatever the fuck. The Eternal Struggle, whatever. But it's the card game. And I was like, I don't know why it popped in my head, but I used to have like binders full of this, and I used to play it all the fucking time. And I was just like, oh my God, I wonder if I still have them, and I don't. So I bought I bought like 600 cards off of eBay. And I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get. So I got the cards, and I'm kind of going through them and all, and I'm thinking, oh, this is great. Oh, I remember this card. Oh, I remember playing this card. I remember this. And the rules are kind of coming back to me a little bit, but it's a pretty complicated game. But then I'm thinking, who am I going to play this with? Because Cheryl's certainly
that could be our new podcast venture once we get bought out. We can be the Super Vampire the Masquerade card game.
That'd be fucking great. And then, so that led me down to another rabbit hole, Joel. So there are other card games throughout the years, right? and there's one that's kind of more recent, but it's all about one person plays as a corporation, and you set up different servers to hide your bad doings with firewalls and all these other manipulating the media and blah blah blah. And then the other player is a hacker, and they're trying to break into these things that you set up to get these secrets and win the game. And it's a card game just like Magic, but that's the theme. And I'm like, fuck, I need this in my life. So I'm about ready to pull the trigger on all the sets, so I can have all the sets and learn how to play. But once again, who the fuck am I playing with? I would literally need to be 2 people, because there's no one in my life that would play these games. No one. So I got to go find like a game place, I guess, which will never happen. And how you have tournaments and shit. I got to find that, but I'll never do it because that's too social for me, even for me. So that's my new obsession. That's my new obsession. These little card games.
I so often nearly pull the trigger on stuff like that, like buying stuff related to old hobbies and nostalgia on eBay. They used to have these things called monsters in my pocket, which are these little kind of rubber.
I got one of them.
Greens.
What?
But all different sort of mythical monsters, and they're extortionately priced on eBay. But I'm kind of tempted because I know my kids would probably like it as well. But
just to have them in your life again.
I'm there.
Trust me, the older I get, the more shit I buy that I used to own. You know what I mean? It really is a weird thing, but it does bring it brings great comfort and joy. I'll watch guys who are heavily into collecting toys, like vintage toys, and they go to these shows, and it's the fucking Castle Grayskull and all this shit that you're like, oh my god. And even all right, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to share this story. So when I was a kid, I had my favorite blanket, right? Was this blanket that had all the NFL logos on it, right? It was a white blanket, but it had every logo and the scripting of the lettering of how, my favorite. And every once in a while, I would sleep in, we called it the big bed. The big bed was mom and dad's bed because, they were, but it was just I don't know, a comfortable room in the house, whatever. So every once in a while. Well, anyway, long and the short of it is, one time I left my blanket in there, and I was what the fuck, man? I got to get my blanket because I can't go to bed without my blanket, man. I need my fucking blanket. And so I waited outside the door, and the door was locked. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm sitting there for about 5-10 minutes. And then the door opens, and my dad is completely naked, and he's got the blanket covering his cock because he just got done having sex, I guess. and I went to grab the blanket. I went to grab the blanket. I want the blanket. And my dad's like, get the fuck out of here. Go back to bed, you dumbass. I was probably going to grab a handful of jizz. He probably came in my blanket. Jerk off. I swear to God.
But that is a brilliant quote for our 300th episode. I feel this is going to go down as a special moment in our history.
Yeah, I never forget that. And so anyway, the long and the short of it, so this video is panning around, and the fucking blanket, and I don't know if it was the exact one, obviously. I would know by the stains on it. But it was that. I was like, I would buy that for any amount of money. Well, maybe not any amount of money, but I would pay if they said $100, I'd be like, nope, here you go. Just for that dumb blanket, because it was such a big part of my life. Pro wrestling. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, there was a question from Booze, but because we've been talking for 40 minutes about absolute nonsense, I'm going to save Booze's question. And let's get into talking about Shinohan Pro Res. Now, I've got no notes here. Has there been any news? Don't think so. Matt Riddle defended the title against Badu Tito. Yuto Nakashima broke his collarbone. Nothing that I think warrants discussion. So, you know what? Let's get straight into this anniversary show. So, not a whole lot going on the undercard. My only takeaway was that it looked like there was some sort of alliance between El Desperado and Tomohiro Ishii. So, I don't know. Maybe they're going to be going after tag titles. That would be cool. I'd like that. That would be good.
Be different, right? I mean, something a little bit different. That's for sure. Yeah, I don't want to shit on the anniversary shows. I think they are usually. Here's what I don't like, I guess. I don't like the idea of a main event where it's pretty much carved in stone what the result's going to be. That's always disappointing. And two, I guess you're kind of looking for an angle or you're looking for something juicy to come out of it. And it feels like, I mean, maybe I'm misremembering or not remembering, but it doesn't feel like these shows, anything really special comes from them. And this is one of them, man. I just was just like, I am just staring at the fucking TV. And there was a match that I think that was pretty good. But nothing else landed, I felt. And it really put me in a real troubled state, I guess, when it came to how we're doing and what we're doing and where we're going. And again, sometimes I feel like the anniversary shows are a little bit of a throwaway, but you do have some New Japan Cup stuff in there. It's first round stuff, so again, it's kind of hard to get too excited.
Did a good number, to be fair. Like last year, when it was headlined by Goto and Yoshihashi versus Tanahashi and Okada, that did 2,020, and today's show did 3,008. So,
yeah,
pretty big increase.
No doubt. And here's the thing, though. I mean, like I said it before, just because it doesn't necessarily land with me doesn't necessarily mean other people aren't buying tickets or things aren't moving in a direction that at least they want. I don't see how it's sustainable, to be truthful. But what do I know? I've been wrong before, once or twice. So look, I don't know. It's just something. Look, this show, I think there wasn't a ton that when you turned it off, you were just like, oh, give me more of that New Japan Pro Wrestling. Right? I just felt like it was a show that had a couple decent matches, and we got a tournament going on. I wish I could be more rah, but I'll give you my positive spin. New Japan Cup, I think, has the potential to be really good, even though the names that are in it, there's some glaring big fucking holes right now. I think it has the potential to be pretty good. So that's what I'm holding out hope for.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to judge it this early on. I mean, you might have hoped that they put a best foot forward in terms of front loading the tournament with a banger or two, but when they're opening tournament matches, Toru Yano defeating Yujiro Takahashi by countout in 2 minutes and 56 seconds, then you're kind of setting the bar fairly low. We did have Gino Gambino back on commentary, looking absolutely jacked.
Yeah.
And I think the commentary was a lot. I think having Gino there really improved things.
Yeah, first he looks like $1 million, so good for him. Like he looks fantastic. Was it Kevin that said he was doing police work or in law enforcement or something like that? He got in shape. I didn't even recognize him until he fucking opened his mouth. Even Walker, I think Walker has dropped a couple pounds, it looked like. So anyway, everybody's fit as a fucking fiddle. Yeah, it was good to hear. I just thought it was, I don't know, like he just popped out of nowhere. Like, what was the purpose of that? I guess is my question.
Well,
I mean, I'm not complaining, but what was the purpose of that?
I think it might be because I think Chris Charlton is not able to do commentary when the company is touring. Like, unless it's a big show or in Tokyo, then he's usually not there. So maybe they just wanted to have a sort of sustained partner for Walker.
Maybe.
Well, I'm glad to hear Gino back. I forgot how funny he was. He's got a great sense of comedic timing.
Yeah.
And that sort of self-deprecating sense of humour that I think just sort of works with the vibes of, the three-man booth today, at least. I thought it was a welcome addition.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to say this, and this is a thought that I've had for a couple of shows, mind you. Like, I'm not a big fan of your lead play-by-play guy being the butt of the jokes. You know what I mean? Like, if Gino can be there, he can be a little bit of the fall guy, so to speak, if we're going to bust balls a little bit. I don't know. I just felt like there were a couple times where it was just like, well, I don't know. That was a pretty cheap shot on your head. Fucking, you know what I mean? Like Walker's got to be the straight guy, you know, and Chris can be the historian, and Gino could be the heel kind of fucking goofy line, you know, shit like that. And I think that's a perfect setup. I mean, it's worked for many, many years, mind you, elsewhere and in New Japan, English commentary. Yeah, I don't know. I was just kind of like, I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that. Maybe it's just me, but it just felt like, I don't know, your lead play-by-play guy shouldn't be the butt of little jabs and little correction and just little things like that. I don't know. It kind of got weird with me, but good to hear a familiar voice in Gino.
Yeah, sorry, I was just muting because Mally's having a coughing fit in the background. We don't want to hear that. I mean, you can hear coughing on Wrestling Omakase, but not on the Super J cast, damn it. We have standards here. So that takes us... what direction? I mean...
Do you want to do match by match, or what do you want to do? Highlights? I mean, we got to talk about...
Well, like, how can I analyse Toriano defeating Yujiro Takahashi in 2 minutes 50? It was quite funny, the way the finish where he handcuffed Yujiro. Oh, Peter was back, which is good, because she's nice to look at. And I like the finish where he handcuffed him to the commentator fella and then punched him in the penis. That was good. So, yeah, it was less than 5 minutes, so I guess I should be satisfied with that.
And you went with Yujiro on this one, did you?
I did. I thought that there would be a continuation of Shota against House of Torture in the next round. I thought it would be like Shota against Yujiro in the next round, but there is continuation of Shota against House of Torture, but just in a different direction. So yeah, we get another Yano match. Yay!
Yeah. I did actually flip the coin and came out on the right side of that one, so that was nice. All right, and then sadly,
Yoshihashi.
Oh, I mean, I don't blame Yoshihashi. Yeah. I mean, I'm not blaming anybody, but this was one of those matches where it was just like, wow. Like,
I was watching this, I was thinking, so for sort of 3/4 of it, thinking like, what is it? Like, I've got no use for Kenta anymore. Like 2024 Kenta, like, please. It was just like, I found very boring control segments. But I did find the closing stretch kind of salvaged it in the end. It was quite creative. I like the finish with Kenta lifting him up for the go to sleep and then Yoshihashi countering that into like the crucifix bomb pin cradle thing. I thought that was really good. Does that make up for the fact that I still think Kenta's totally washed and I don't want to watch him wrestle anymore and he has no business holding a championship in New Japan? Probably not, but I suppose we should just be grateful that Yoshihashi won and we're not going to be subjected to another Kenta versus Sanada match.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, let's be very honest here. Kenta at one point was top of the world, right? He was one of the greatest pro wrestlers, I thought, in the world, you know, at one point. Spectacular runs with Noah. And even some of the shit that he would do over here occasionally with Ring of Honor was really just fucking top flight stuff. We're well past that. And it's not like, you know, oh, well, he's a guy that, you know, he just works smart now. And it just like I don't feel it. I feel a guy who's, I don't want to say cashing a check, but like he's just putting in the time, it feels like, you know. And that makes
as a little thought exercise, I went to his match guide on Cage Match just to rank in descending order, like his best rated matches. And you have to go all the way to 39, this 39th best match, to find something from this decade.
Wow.
And that was the Zack Sabre Jr. match from 2021. Yeah, pretty much everything is from, like nearly 20 years ago, like 15 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he set the bar very high. Right? The problem is that the fall has been so low that it's like, there's like a glaring gaping hole between that time period and who he is now. I don't know. Like, I don't want to say that the dude's just living off that rep that he had and that name. But is anybody really excited to see him at this point? I mean, again, backstage commentary aside, like, is anybody like, oh, great?
Michael, friend of the show, Jay Michael, will be furious at us slandering Kenta.
Really?
He loves everything that Kenta does, but I think he might be one of the few people on planet Earth who says so. Yeah.
I mean, look again. If you're hanging, if you're giving me Kenta from the boom, his boom period, yeah, I could sit there and watch that shit all fucking day. But now obviously he's a shell of himself physically, but it's really, honestly, I feel like he's a guy that's just like, let's cash in some checks and I'm sorry.
Yeah, I thought he was being phased out. Like, I was surprised to see him reappear, let alone winning tag titles. I was like, oh, they've stopped booking him. I guess no more Kenta, but now he's a champion.
Wasn't that angle? I mean, when he turned on Shibata, and even when he was just a prick, fucking up Naito at Tokyo Dome, I don't know. Give me on a scale of 1 to 10. How has his return, not necessarily to New Japan Pro Wrestling, but post WWE Kenta in New Japan? Give me a scale 1 to 10.
Oh, the highs have been fairly high. I mean, I'm not obviously up to his in-ring standards, but just in terms of his charisma, I think there's been a lot to enjoy there and make it worthwhile. So, on the whole, I would give it maybe is a 7 too generous? Maybe a 6?
Oh, yeah. I'm going. I was actually thinking about, would I go above 5? Like, would I go above 5? And I would probably stay at 5. 7, I think, is very generous. I mean, again, your mileage is going to vary to mine, but I mean, give me the highlight. Like, the highlight is him, that turn and that post-match angle. Like, it's not like the follow-up matches were anything spectacular, were they? I don't remember them being great.
No, his best matches have been with Zack and Ospreys in the G1 last year. Dragged him kicking and screaming to an entertaining match. But yeah, no, I take your point. I agree with you. So
yeah. I'm going 5. All right, so that sucked the cock of life.
And not in a nice way. I mean,
right?
Usually that's
not a soothing, warm, relaxing.
I'm forcing us to move on. I don't want to talk about Kenta anymore. The next New Japan Cup first round match was Jack Perry defeating Shota Umino in 12 minutes 22. The match was all right. I mean, it wasn't anything brilliant, but I am intrigued by Jack Perry joining House of Torture, which we called. You can go and listen to Wrestling Omakase where me and John discussed it, and I gave it the tagline, "The House That Jack Built." So if he wants to have that on a t-shirt, he can have that royalty free, because I might buy it. House of Torture merchandise is brilliant. But everyone in the JCast Discord was a hooting and a hollering. And I mean, that's been the big criticism of Jack Perry in his AEW days, that there wasn't really any edge to him, those rough edges, and he wasn't a very good promo. He cut what I thought was a fairly good promo backstage after this, and I think having that real life resentment that he's tapping into, I don't know to what extent this is a shoot, but it's definitely compelling. I'm enjoying watching it. I'm not holding my breath for him to turn into the next coming of Kenny Omega or whatever. But at the very least, from a character perspective, I'm quite intrigued to see how Jack Perry in House of Torture plays out. It's something different, and I mean, we criticised the fact that the company have been pushing House of Torture quite prominently in recent months, especially with that New Beginning in Sapporo show where we had the back-to-back show winning the title and then Evil defending the title. So for them to the anniversary show have the semi-main event be all about House of Torture and then House of Torture in the main event as well was a choice. But I don't have any real issues. Like I like the Jack Perry stuff. I'm into it. Let's see where it goes. Now, having said that, Shota Umino. I mean, you have to remember about New Japan Pro Wrestling, Damon, is that when your undisputed ace of the company, who's been top billing for the last decade, has just left, and when the best wrestler in the world for the last 4 years has also just left, and the company's
and should I say, and just put on a banger of a fucking match on national television. But go ahead. Oh no, it was a pay-per-view, wasn't it? I don't know when it was, but okay, whatever. It was good.
In those uncertain times when the fans are sort of hoping for someone to hang their hat on, maybe a new young star, young savior of the company, and you have that young star stand in the middle of Korakuen Hall in front of your sort of core fan base and say to all the fans, don't worry guys, I'm the future ace. I've got this. After the rain, there's going to be sunshine. I'm going to take us into the next generation. It's very important to have them just lose all their matches after that.
Right.
Because we like that. That's epic. And that makes us like him even more and makes him into a star. So, don't go and listen to Wrestling on Omakase, because I definitely didn't predict Shota Umino to win the entire New Japan Cup. That didn't happen.
No.
So move along here. Nothing to see.
Well, I lost here as well. This is my one loss. I was like, I thought, New Japan has done stranger things. Did I did pick Shota. Yeah, I picked Shota. And I just thought, why not? Let's give Shota, let's start, he's already got his head shaved, right? We're kind of starting fresh and starting new. Why not?
No. Well, you got his head shaved, or are we talking about Shota's haircut?
Well, I mean, the new haircut for Shota, but yes, what I'm trying to say poorly, as a matter of fact, is we have a core group of guys who lose. I'm thinking, okay, this is here's where we turn the tide, right? Here's where we start the new year. Fresh slate, clean. Let's go. Nope. Let's bring in somebody from the outside and have them win and be, quite honestly, a pretty major focus of the fucking show too. Right. So now we've had 3 shows where guys debut, and the homegrown talent once again takes a little bit of a backseat. Do I have a problem with that? I think it's well documented, right? Now, I know I hear the voices. I hear the people yelling at I hear, what was it? The Yankoid. What was it?
Yankoid imbecile.
Right. I hear him yelling it. I hear it. I hear him. Why would they bring in Jack Perry? They're gonna fucking do a job in the first. I understand. Okay. I thought maybe. Why not? Let's have a little fun with it, right? I will say that I was
forgot that he was white, so it's just like, oh, he's white, of course.
Right? Yeah.
Fuck. And that's been an interesting thought exercise for doing the rest of the brackets, like where all of the House of Torture guys have to win, and all of the white guys have to win, and all of the young stars have to lose, and trying to make all those 3 things happen it's been quite tricky and fun.
Yeah, it's been a balance, hasn't it? Well, here, look, I will say this, that at the very least, it was something completely miles away from where I thought Jack Perry would be landing in New Japan Pro Wrestling and how he would be presented. And if any factions were to take place, I probably would have gone with just about every other faction. But they did the opposite of it. And you're right. It is, at least it has me a bit intrigued to see what will happen. And it is something that is, I don't know if that's the safe move, right? To not do, like, it would be the safe move to not have him there, right? So, I mean,
because when you've got one of the young, AEW pillars going over to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and you think, we might have quite a few casual Western fan eyeballs on this.
Right, let's
now,
put him in the
which New Japan unit do they absolutely love to see?
Right. Again, that's it. To me, it really doesn't make much sense, but maybe that
I respect it. I respect the sheer sort of sicko mode booking of it.
That's all I can call it, the sicko booking. But yeah, I mean, at that point, what else can you do? So, do I think he's a fit? Personally, I couldn't be further from a fit. But then, what is a fit in House of Torture? Anybody can fucking grab an object and choke someone and do behind the back shit from the referee. Okay, let's just see. I'm just getting, my patience is just running very thin, and I don't know where we got that information or where, but like, Shota's a guy that's like, you would think would be really in a more prominent position at this point in the year, but again, somebody's got to lie down, and Jack Perry's got to go over. Let's give it to let's have one of our young guys do that. Not anyone else. I want it to be a person that we need to put the fucking rocket on. Let's have him do the job. We can't have anyone go out. We can't have anyone else go out in the first round, Joel. We can't have anyone else go out in the first round besides the young.
No, it's the luck of the draw, Damon. It was they had all the balls and the little tombola thing, and that's just how the brackets came out.
You know what? You're right. Sometimes you win some, you lose some. That's true. Well, better luck next time, Shota, I guess. Right? You would think Dad would have a little bit more influence and pull, but God damn it, the balls fall where they will, and that's the story of our lives, right?
On the Discord, Gui says, how long do you think New Japan expects their fans to stock up on clown makeup in regards to the Reiwa 3 and Yuya? Seems like they want to keep us in a perpetual state of, surely now's the time. And for one, I feel quite tired of it right now. Damon, how far do you think... Well, so we've got 3 remaining. We've got Yuya, Ren, and Tsuji still in the tournament. How deep does at least one of them have to go for us to not be at the end of this tournament going, wait a minute, what are we actually doing here?
Listen, I will do cartwheels all the way to the fucking Tokyo Dome if I could get at least one guy out of the first round. I'd be thrilled with that at this point. I would say, if we're being dead serious, they got to get out of the second round. They got to make it to at least the third. One guy, right, has got to make it to at least past the second round. Like I will officially sit here, and it's not like I can sit here and say I have any clue what the fuck they're thinking, but give me some hope, because I'm right with that person who says it. I'm there. My patience is running thin. And I understand. I've watched this product for many moons. And I understand the dojo system, and I understand how they like to, like, it just feels like something is so slow, and it's needlessly slow. And this is just another point. So to answer your question, I need one guy. Pick him. I don't care who it is. And truth be told, like, if you were to put the Super J-K as a gun to my head, Shota probably would have been the guy. You know what I mean? For me, anyway, to get past that. I mean, who are we going with now? Yotasuji? Are we going with? I mean, who are we going with?
Well, we can save that for
Oh,
our
okay.
Pick'ems contest, or 80% of a Pick'ems contest.
Right.
Right, let's move on then to the main event of this show, which was Tetsuya Naito defeating Sho in 22 minutes and 7 seconds, which I thought was okay. It was I quite liked it, actually. I thought it was fun, and it sort of reminded me that all the shenanigans aside, Sho is a good wrestler and quite an entertaining wrestler, and I feel he does the house shenanigans with the energy and vibrancy that makes me sort of look upon it a little bit more favourably than when it's like an Evil or a Yujiro doing it. So I thought this match was decent. I don't know if I could say any more than that. My expectations were admittedly very low, but Louis says, with the surprise of Sho in the main event, I was skeptical he could have a decent match with Naito. Not for nothing, as Damon likes to say, Sho pulled it off with a mix of wrestling and some House of Torture shenanigans. Are the seeds planted here for a future House of Torture LIJ feud down the line? So yeah, I mean, consensus seems to be, in our circles at least, that this match was received quite well. Damon, what were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was okay. I mean, I look. Here's what you really needed at the end of the day. Like to me, the best match on the show was the United Empire Bullet Club tag match. I thought that was pretty good. And this would probably be second. That being said, like it like this was I feel like this was a perfect example of a show where New Japan highlighted a lot of things that just aren't for me. And it seemed like it had that same kind of faction formula that was kind of unnecessary too, with a lot of the House of Torture rushing the ring, and then LIJ. I don't know. Like, that didn't do
So
anything.
just go through the card here, right? So fifth match was House of Torture, 8-man tag match. The sixth match was House of Torture with Yujiro in it. The eighth match was House of Torture with Jack Perry, and then the ninth match was House of Torture with Sho. So it's quite heavy on the House of Torture. If you're not into that kind of thing, I could see why you might have issues with this event, even though I quite liked it and I had a fun time. I appreciate not everyone is going to experience it that way. It's that they're being quite bold with their booking choices in this part of the year.
And I think especially because there's that morbid curiosity people might have of, well, let's see what they do post Okada and let's see what they do post Osprey. Let's and even post Tamatanga, like let's see what they got planned. Let's see what they got up their sleeves. And like if you were looking for a reset, or you were looking for like who's going to carry the torch and who's going to be the people that fill those, like you were not getting that on this show at all. And like I don't know, maybe I felt like post Nick and post Matt and post all that stuff going, yeah, like you're just kind of like, okay, now you kind of owe us. you kind of owe us a little bit, and you didn't get it. You didn't get that. Now, once again, I really think the New Japan Cup has a chance to be pretty decent, pretty good, right? So, and again, I do feel like sometimes those anniversary shows sometimes are a little bit more hype than they are, a little bit more sizzle than steak in some cases. And your mileage again will vary. I just think this, not only was it a show that I thought was flat, I was disappointed in the sense that, again, I guess what I was looking for was I kind of wanted something to quiet my mind of what the fuck are we doing? Like, give me, when we had that dog pound cage match, and we had, the show over. Was pretty good. The show was really good. I just, I kind of felt like, okay, give me some hope here. Give me something to sink my teeth into. And maybe this is just plain and simply wasn't the show that was going to do that. And maybe I was looking for something a little bit more than that was even promised. Oh boy, I got there's nothing in the middle this year so far. It's either been dizzying highs.
I'm hopping mad, and I want something in the middle.
Right. Right.
It feels like they'd had this mapped out. They're like, okay, this chunk of the year is going to be all about House of Torture, and we're going to have all these House of Torture angles that are going to get paid off at whatever at this point. And then Ospreay and Okada left, and I think a sensible thing to do might have been to pivot at that point and think, okay, people are a bit anxious now. We need to do something exciting here. And they didn't. They're just like, no, got to stick to the plan. Because I can't imagine that was a conscious choice, that they're like, right, so with Okada and Ospreay leaving, we are going full steam ahead with House of Torture shenanigans.
Right. You know what it felt like? And I had this thought, and again, I have nothing to back this up. So please take this as a Damon smooth brain moment. Like, it felt like somebody in the back finally said, hey, thank God that fucking Okada's out of the way. So now we can really get into this House of, you know what I mean? Like, okay, there's nothing holding us back. We can really fucking let go on the House of Torture because this is good shit, man. somebody who has
like laughing and high-fiving backstage, like, yeah, we've done it again.
Yeah, right. Like, again, I can't put a nail in the coffin, right? But let's put it this way. I turned this off. Watching the show, I feel like you'll miss, like, if you went away on holiday, vacation, if you will, and had no access to the show, and you're not missing a beat, I don't think. You did have an angle of Jack Perry, but, like, I don't know. Is anybody losing sleep over that one? I hate to be fucking Debbie Downer on it, but, like, if I'm being honest, that's where I'm at. So, yeah, I think New Japan Cup needs to pick up that pace. And the problem is that I have absolutely no reason to think that it will, because of the way, and we saw in this show how much of a focus House of Torture is going to be. And if you don't like House of Torture, this is going to be tough watching. I can't lie. It's going to be tough watching.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall I enjoyed this show a lot more than you did, but I mean, I'm more sort of sympathetic towards the House and enjoy their shtick. So in isolation, I don't really have a problem with any of this. I don't, the Jack Perry stuff is good. I like that. I thought the main event was good as well. But if it's got to be taken into context. If this is a sign of things to come as far as this New Japan Cup booking goes, then yeah, we're going to be having a very different conversation when it comes to the end of the tournament. But I never have a good feel for the booking of these tournaments. I mean, I didn't see the Sanada run to championship victory last year because he was coming off the back of a Manabu Soya loss at the Wrestle Kingdom event. So I don't really have a feel for New Japan booking anymore these days. So I am reluctant to sort of use this to draw wider trends out of it because, like I said, it's just sicko mode bookings. Who knows what's going on? But I think there is an interesting conversation to be had about what we could have had in the main event of this show. We've got a couple of questions about that. So Zach says, Was the show junior title switch only to prevent having the Desperado versus Naito match on the anniversary show? Do you think it's a good decision not to run that match? And Eric says, hot house of torture take. This was before the anniversary show. Show versus Naito is going to be stupidly fun with absurdity and loads of run-ins. Am I being overly optimistic if I assume they continue to protect Naito Hiromu and Naito Despi from the anniversary show because they know it should be saved for an even bigger event? So what do you think is the logic in not running Naito Hiromu or Naito Despi when there were very easy paths to get to both of those at this event?
Honestly, the only thing, I don't think it was that they were saving anything, and there's going to be an expectation of either of those guys being like a huge gate, big show, New Japan match that they're saving for. As a matter of fact, I mean, we saw, and again, I know the question came in before the show, but if we're looking at it, it does feel like there's Despi and Ishii together. I don't look. What I can only go by what we got, and what we got was consecutive shows of B and C level former WWE superstars and House of Torture. That's what we got. That's what we have. And to say that they're saving, they changed the match to. I mean, to me, what they're telling me is that they're not saving anything. They're putting a person in that position, main event, high profile match, to say, okay, we're going even deeper with House of Torture. Like, that's my biggest fear in this. I'm telling you, that's my biggest fear in all of this. And again, they're a faction that is built to heat them up and then have revenge and everyone feel good. I get it. The problem is that it's not a back in the day, heels. It's not Piper and Orndorff getting fucking heat on Hogan and whomever. It's not Horseman against Dusty and the fucking roadies. That's not what we're doing here. That's not it. That's not House of Torture. House of Torture is what the fuck? Like, House of Torture is fucking Paul Jones's army. Okay, that's what we're dealing with here. That's what the fuck we're dealing with here. Like, for the old school fans, that's what it feels like to me. It feels like, in lieu of the Horsemen and Road Warriors and Dusty, and then we're going with Paul Jones's army, and it's frustrating. So, no, to answer the question, I don't think it's being held off necessarily for, they have this ace up their sleeve that they can go to. I honestly think it's a case of, we're giving a title to a House of Torture guy, and we're making them as prominent as we can possibly make them. I really do.
All right, well, let's preview and map out the rest of the tournament. I don't really know how to approach this, because if I predict what I think would happen, what I think will happen, I'm going to get it all wrong. If I predict what I would like to happen, then that's going to be all wrong as well. So I think I'm kind of feeling like I should just go like full ghetto terrorist mode booking here and just pick the worst possible outcomes and just see where the chips fall. So, yeah, I mean, this will start, by the time you're listening to this, the next set of first round matches may have already happened. So we've got a show coming up Thursday, March the 7th at Korakuen Hall. Top three are New Japan Cup matches there, where we've got Ishii versus Chase Owens, Tanga Loa versus Great O'Connor, and main event TJP versus David Finlay. So let's...
Give me your picks first. Yeah, give me your picks first, and then we can work from there.
No, you do your picks first.
I'll do my picks. All right, so let's work our way backwards then. TJP, David Finlay. I mean, look, I as much as I think TJP is a workhorse and very talented and has done good things and things that leave your head scratching a little bit. You almost have to go David Finlay here, right? You have to, right?
I could see this being like the big bracket buster pick though, and like Finlay and TJP wrestled each other in a singles match. I think it was in the States not too long ago, and Finlay won that. So I would not be stunned if TJP pulled off the upset here. It should be Finlay winning, and I guess I'll pick Finlay to win, but
Yeah.
I can't rule that out. They like to do nutty things,
They do,
especially in the main event at Korakuen Hall. Like you could. I don't know. I've got a bad feeling about it.
Okay, but here's my saving grace on this. If TJP wins, right, then he's wrestling the winners of Tanga Loa, Great O'Khan. They're not going to do United Empire, right?
Yeah. So again, the logical, as the other coin drops, that will be Tanga Loa defeating Great O'Khan, and then we do TJP versus Tanga Loa in the next round, which everybody enjoys and loves to see with their eyes.
All right. Well, I went the complete opposite. So I went Finlay against O'Khan in round 2. Like there's no way Tanga Loa beats Great O'Khan. Tell me, there's no fucking way that happens. A guy who
he's got to watch out for the advancing attack, Damon. It's very dangerous.
My God, like we haven't learned our lesson yet. The guy just found that
he said that he didn't know he was in the tournament until 2 days ago.
Right. I mean,
my brother in Christ, they announced the brackets like a fortnight ago. What is going on?
Right. Like, come on. I mean, give me some hope here. Like, honestly, if Great O'Khan loses, just end it. Like, he should just fucking resign and go.
Take him out the back of Korakuen Hall and shoot him in the skull.
Yep.
Because there's no
We're done
anymore.
Like, what's the point at this point? Like, honestly, he should just get into porn. Just he seemed happy. He seemed much happier, when he was hooking up with the porn chicks and in Vegas, and he's riding cocks and just being a fucking loose cannon out. And he just seemed like life was better. If he loses to Tanga Loa, like we're done, right? We're officially done with Great O'Khan, and we should just bury it. Like, I don't want to hear another word about him. I honestly don't. I don't want to hear another word about him.
Okay, so you're definitely picking Great O'Khan then? Okay.
Listen, if Great O'Khan doesn't win, we're not making it to 301. How about that?
All right, the next one is interesting. Ishii versus Chase Owens. And Chase Owens is very, very loud about people picking against him. And he will get in people's DMs on Twitter saying, "Oh, you didn't pick me to win." And he was very, very noisy after his match today, talking about people writing him off. Everyone wrote him off against Juice Robinson in 2019. So I don't know how far in advance these guys are told the results, but he's laying it on really, really thick here. And we can't discount the little nugget of Ishii and Desperado. So if they are going to team up and do some tag stuff, then maybe this would be an opportunity for Ishii to get a pin over Chase Owens and lay claim to a tag title match at some point in the future. But in the spirit of terrorist booking and in the spirit of Chase Owens being on Reddit and arguing with people about his contract and being in people's DMs and vanity searching on Twitter for all the people who picked Tomohiro Ishii, I think I've got to pick Chase Owens here.
I did. What do you think of that? I already did. Like that. Just, I don't know. I think the bye had a lot to do with it too. So Hiroki Goto has a bye going into the second round, right? So the winner
and Goto versus Ishii would be a fun match that lots of people enjoy watching. So we can't have that.
No, right. So, but it does also give a little bit of a cleaner path for Hiroki Goto to go a little bit deep, which I do have him going a little bit deep. So yeah, I I went with Chase. So Chase, no need to go into my DMs, big guy. I picked you. Not that I give a fuck either way. Yep. So Chase Owens I have, and then obviously Hiroki Goto going to the second round on a bye. Chase Owens versus Hiroki. I mean, to me, that's kind of we're continuing on with a little bit of tag team feudism. There's a little bit there, so I don't know. That's I figured if there's going to be an upset,
Stephen, I don't really think anyone in that booking team thinks about the tag titles, let alone tag title booking. I'm not even sure they put that amount of foresight into it to think, let's arrange the brackets this way so this person can pin this person and set up a tag title opportunity. I mean, that would make sense, but I'm not sure that's how we're operating these days. But I mean, I see the logic. Let's assume that there is some shred of sense in there. The next show after that will be Friday, March 8th in Yamanashi, where our top 3 matches are Oleg Boltin against Hikuleo, Callum Newman against Gabe Kidd, and main event of Shingo Takagi versus newly shaved Yuya Uemura. So let's start with Hikuleo and Oleg Boltin.
Got to go Hikuleo, right? I mean, only because if we're being consistent here, Bolton can't possibly just on the pecking order. Like, he's not going to beat Hikuleo, is he?
No, he should, and it would be cool and good, but he won't.
Right. Which would then, again, I always look to the future. That would set up Evil, who has a bye going into the second round, against Hikuleo, which I think makes more sense than Bolton. That's how I saw it anyway. So yeah, Hikuleo goes on. I'll go to the bank on that one.
And then Callum against Gabe should be really good.
Yeah,
looking forward to that one a lot. Hopefully Gabe can, keep himself in check. And yeah, Gabe is my pick for that one.
I went Callum. I did. Now,
because my logic was because I think they want to get back to Gabe Shingo, which was supposed to happen in Rev Pro.
Good point. Hey, listen. Never mind. I was going to say something. Bit my tongue. Listen. Airplanes are weird things, man. Fucking weird things. I went Callum only because, well, truth be told, I did flip a coin because I could see it going either way. I kind of just want to see what the kid can do on a little bit of a bigger spot. I think we're assuming Shingo moves on, right? So that would be the match of, I think that would be a nice little, I don't know, let's see what you got, singles match. And I think everybody would be very excited. And like, at least according to mine, I mean, I had Shota going on over Jack Perry, but that's obviously not happening. He would be like one of the deeper young lions in the tournament for me, anyway. Like, he would be in the second round, and like, there's no one else that's in the second round for me.
Yeah, no, I don't see it. I won't rule it. I mean, he's not really a young lion per se, but I mean, he's on that tier. He is on that tier. Right. But again, if he's a guy that, if what we hear is correct, that he is being long-term groomed for United Empire leadership or a high spot in the company at least, then if you were to ask me, do I think the office sees more long-term upside in Callum Newman or Gabe Kidd? I think the answer is Callum Newman.
Yes.
And people might not want to hear that because we love Gabe Kidd, but I don't think the office sees Gabe Kidd the way that we see Gabe Kidd.
Number one. And number two, all kidding aside, doesn't sound like he's doing himself a lot of favors, right?
Yeah.
So if you're going for a riskier pick, Gabe Kidd's your guy, right? I think if you're going for a little bit of a safer pick, and I'm not saying in ring style, so don't read in the fuck between the lines. I don't know. I just feel like if they wanted something a little bit more stabilizing, I think that's the pick. And then you still have a very sexy second round match going in, and with a little bit of a surprise. So yeah, I mean that's where I wound up in the second.
I will throw in the caveat that I think Callum Newman was a late replacement for Henare. So I don't know if that would influence anyone's
maybe
bookings.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe you know what? Maybe.
Yeah.
All right. We just
so then Shingo versus the freshly shaved Yuya. You're not giving Yuya a chance here?
Well, I mean, why should I?
Yeah, because he's young, so he's losing.
Right. And bold. I don't know. Do you think? I mean, do you give me percentage that he beats a guy like
Shingo?
Yeah.
I don't think he does.
Okay. I hope so. That'd be nice. That'd be fun. I don't see it though. I mean, again, I don't. Not because I don't want it, and not because that would make logical sense. Just, I mean, look, you got to start somewhere, right? But I don't know. Like, I feel like I've bet for it so many times that I'm just tired of getting burnt. So I went the other way.
Yeah. And I kind of hope we're wrong, because as much as I love Shingo, that would be a hell of a statement win for Yuya. To be honest, I'm just looking forward to seeing Yuya in a singles match against someone who's not Yota Tsuji. Not that there's anything wrong with those matches, but just I'd like to see him wrestling some different people now and then. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on to Sunday in Hyogo. So our New Japan Cup matches for this show are El Phantasmo against Mikey Nichols, Taichi versus Ren Narita, and Yota Tsuji versus Jeff Cobb in the main event. So yeah, let's start with ELP against Mikey Nichols. I think this could be a bit of a bracket buster, and I don't know, maybe this could be an avenue to set up something for the strong tag titles, but I could see Mikey winning this one.
I could see it. Like, I want to be shocked with it. I did go El Phantasmo, by the way. But I could see it. It wouldn't rock the wrestling world if that happened. I don't know. I just think like I want to believe that El Phantasmo can make it to the fucking second round after what it feels like years of us saying, yeah, they like the guy. Yeah, they really want to work. They really think have high, like all that. I kind of it would be nice to see some of that payoff eventually. And like, is it really going to hurt Mikey Nichols that he doesn't get out of the fucking first round? Come on, it's not. And I think it would help El Phantasmo more if we're serious about having El Phantasmo be anything more than a tag team wrestler.
And then Taichi versus Ren. I mean, Taichi would be a great pick to just win the whole tournament. I think he'd be good value for that. I think Taichi versus Naito at Sakura Genesis would do a really good number. I think the fans would be into it, and everyone would enjoy it. So we're not doing that. And the biggest giveaway here is that Zack Sabre Jr. has a bye. So they're dangling this carrot of the Dangerous Tekkers singles match, which we wanted for a very long time in the second round. So it's one of the few occasions I will pick the younger wrestler here and think Ren gets the win.
See, I agree with everything you said. I went with what I wanted to say. Everything you said makes all the sense in the world. Plus, the idea of Ren kind of getting even a little bit more heated up when it comes to all the shenanigans he's involved with. It makes sense. Trust me. I see it, but I did go Taichi and Zach just because I want to see it. I want to see what they do with it, and I think it would be great for everyone involved. Yeah. So that's where I went with that, and I'm saying that knowing full well that I'll probably take a big fat fucking L on that one, but I'm going with what I want for the first time here.
And then the main event is Yota Tsuji versus Jeff Cobb. I mean, this seems like a great way to give Yota Tsuji another big win in the main event against a guy who is not really going to hurt that much. And I think it will be a very dynamic and fun main event. So, yeah, I mean, my terrorist mode booking is that Tsuji is out in the first round along with all the other guys that I like. But yeah, I'm going to be optimistic here and say Yota.
Okay, I love your optimism. I went terrorism.
Wow.
I went pure, unadulterated.
So he's won this big hair versus hair match and is riding that momentum straight into a brick wall of Jeff Cobb.
I went Jeff Cobb. So second round, Jeff Cobb, El Phantasma. Yep.
I love it. Let's do that. I'm changing my pick. And then we have a show on Monday where we're going to have Sanada against the winner of Yoshihashi. Well, it will be Sanada versus Yoshihashi. And also Jack Perry against Toriano. So let's start with Sanada versus Yoshihashi.
Yeah. I mean, truth be told, I had Shota in this spot. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm Sanada Yoshihashi we're talking. Sanada's got to win this, right?
Yeah, because he's carrying a bad injury and he's not able to wrestle to full capacity. So, yeah, definitely having a deep run in the tournament because we've not seen enough Sanada lately. I'd like him to be featured more prominently and run deep in these tournaments because I just... there's something there. There's potential there. I think, maybe if we just give him the ball, he can run with it.
Yeah. Quarterfinals, Sanada is in. I mean...
It would be very typical New Japan booking to have Jack Perry get the big win, debut in the new faction, and then immediately lose the banana skin match to Yano. But I'm not sure I can do that with a straight face.
So you're saying a possible Sanada Toriano in the quarterfinals.
It would be funny. Think of the funny things like Sanada putting Yano in the Paradise Lock and everyone laughing because that's funny and yeah.
It's funny. Shota Umino. Me having him in the quarterfinals.
Shota Umino. Shota Umino.
Yep. That's funny. Like looking at that right in front of me, that screenshot from Chris Sampson's Pro Wrestling Database Incorporated website, whatever that is. I forget the name of it. What is it? Pro Wrestling World of Sport.
Sport of Pro Wrestling. I feel like we should say the name of his website correctly.
You're probably right. I'm terrible at that, but Chris knows that I'm legally just brain dead, so it's okay. You won't mind. I'm looking at it right now. Quarterfinal, Sanada, Shota. Boy, what a laugh that is. So do you think Jack is foiled by Toriano?
No, I think...
So you're saying quarterfinals, Jack Perry?
Yeah, I think running back Jack Perry against Sanada, because of course they had that very memorable match. What was it, like third from the opener, Forbidden Door? Yeah. I think we want to go back to that. So yeah, I'm gonna pencil in Jack Perry for the win here.
Wowzers. God damn it. So, okay. So you're saying Jack Perry beats Toriano. You're saying he beats Sanada in the quarterfinals?
I'm just going to stick a pin in that for now.
Okay.
And leave
fair
Sanada Perry as our... Is that, are we unanimous on that? A Sanada Jack Perry quarterfinal?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Holy fuck, yeah. Oh my God, yeah. Wow. Boy, they love these fucking washed B and C level fucking. Oh my goodness gracious! I can't believe I'm going to be rooting for Sanada. You know what? I'm not going to be rooting for Sanada. Fuck that.
No, fuck Sanada. I hate him now.
Me too. Fuck him. Fuck that.
A whole year, Damon. A whole year of Sanada in IWGP World Title matches.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. Yeah. Jack, I cannot believe Jack Perry is what this show has come to. Remember when I was talking about
Maybe.
New Japan Cup has a real good chance of being good? Holy fuck. Am I talking myself out of that one?
Well, let's go down to the next quadrant.
All
then.
right.
So this will be the Tuesday show in Ehime, where we'll have Hiroki Goto against the winner of Ishii versus Owens, and then the winner of Loa versus Okada against the winner of TJP versus Finlay. So let's do. So we're agreeing on Finlay versus Okada, and I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time prognosticating on this because there's a lot of variables here. But Finlay versus Okada, I would think Finlay goes through there.
I'm thinking that too. I mean, unless they just have this, you know, they're just going in on Great O'Con. But yeah, I would think
Okigawa.
Yeah, I can't believe it. And then I had Goto over Chase. So yeah, Finlay, Goto in the semis.
Okay, fine.
Or the quarterfinals.
We have a show on Wednesday in Okayama where we'd have Evil against the winner of Oleg versus Hikuleo, and then the winner of Newman versus Kid against the winner of Takagi versus Uemura. So first of all, Evil versus Hikuleo. It would be extremely New Japan for Hikuleo to get a big upset win over Evil and earn himself a never openweight title shot, and then maybe even win the never openweight title, and then announce that he's going to go to NXT.
That would be very par for the course. Yeah, you were talking a little bit about
fucking liars. This massive grift. Like, I'll stick around. You know, I'll stay if you push my brother and give him this, and give him that. He's going to stay. Don't worry, I'm leaving, but he's going to stick around and pledge his future to you. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah. Yep. Looks that. I mean, look, nobody. Well, I can't say nobody knows, but
Evil.
Evil.
Can we pick Evil?
Evil. Yeah.
Yeah. Evil. And then I've got Shingo versus Gabe Kidd here, and I've got Shingo winning.
Yeah, me too. Well, I have Shingo over Count. But yeah, Shingo going on. So it would be quarterfinals, Evil versus Shingo, which that might not be that bad. If you know, look, let's put
done
this
that before at tournaments around this stage.
It should be fine. Okay, and then let's go deeper into the week.
Yeah. So we should probably record after that. Let's pencil in Thursday to record after all those matches. Then, you got Cobb versus ELP.
Well, yeah. Cobb versus ELP. Cobb moves on. I have Zach beating Tai Chi. So my quarterfinal looks like Cobb versus ZSJ.
So I'm putting on the clown makeup back on and having Suji going over Cobb, and then Suji going over ELP.
Wow.
And then I like both of these options, actually. Suji versus Ren or Suji versus Zach. Let's go Ren. Let's
wow.
Have the Musketeers going deep. So I'm setting up a Suji versus Ren.
Wow. Zach out.
Yeah, he can be protected
Holy
with
shit.
House of Torture shenanigans.
Well, he's going to lose to Ren.
Yeah.
Oh, how protected is he going to be?
We'll have the full complement of House of Torture come out. Evil's holding his right arm. Jack Perry's holding his left arm. Show's holding his right leg. Kanemaru's holding his left leg. And then just repeatedly kick him in the balls until he passes out.
Wow. So you have a quarterfinal. Youngsters. Yota Tsuji, Red Narita.
Yeah, it's preposterous, isn't it?
Wow.
What we're doing.
I mean, look.
This is silly. I'm putting ELP versus Zack Sabre Jr. That's the sort of trash that they think we deserve. So yeah, I'm retconning that.
I mean, I'm going what I officially have. I have Cobb and Zach.
Okay. Then back to the top left of the quadrant, Sonata versus Jack Perry. I'm really tempted to give Jack Perry his win back. I'm doing it. Jack Perry's getting his win back from Forbidden Door Injustice. Jack Perry into the semifinals of the New Japan Cup.
Good Lord Almighty. Well, I have Sonata, David Finlay in that role. David Finlay taking that role, and David Finlay putting us out of our misery, so to speak. So
Are you sure I can't tempt you with a Whitey versus Whitey semi-final?
You basically got that with Sonata, and I hate to say it. He might as well be. Look, it's I just can't. I can't go that nuclear. I just can't. I
Damon,
don't.
Damon, you realise you are hovering dangerously close to Sonata versus Evil New Japan Cup final.
Oh no! I got David Finlay taking care of business. David Finlay's our savior in this one. Yeah,
fine margins though.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, it's going to be. I do have an Evil Zach in the semifinals. Semifinals, I have Sonata Finlay, Evil Zach.
Okay, so we got Evil beating Shingo.
Yeah.
All right, and then you got Zach beating
Cobb.
What? Again,
I have Cobb, but whoever, it could be El Phantasmo, but I have Cobb in that role.
All right, I'll have Zach beating ELP. I do like a Zach Shingo semi-final. They've got good chemistry.
Oh, I love it.
And yeah, so Evil, Zach versus Evil in the semi-final.
Yeah, I mean, just book what you don't like.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the route, right?
Yeah.
But I had to take one side of the bracket and be like, okay, listen, I gotta have shit that I really enjoy with Zach. So, and I think my semifinals aren't that wacky. Sonata Finlay, Evil Zach. I mean, that's not too crazy, right?
Yeah, I suppose the only issue I have here is, well, okay, go on. Let's let it play out. So we got Sonata Finlay. You got Finlay going through to the final, yeah?
I do, yes.
And then Evil Zach. You got Zach going through.
That is correct.
Right,
so
you're finals. Yeah, so you got two white men in the final, yeah.
I do. I do.
And who's winning?
All the whites in the world are winning.
Yes, all of us. Yeah, the white men at home going, yay, finally some representation.
Right.
Took them long enough.
I have, David Finlay versus Zack Sabre Jr. In the finals, with a winner being New Japan Cup winner Zack Sabre Jr. As winner. This is his year once again when it comes to New Japan Cup. But I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe this will be the beginning story of a championship run for Zack Jr.
I love it. I hope you enjoy my Sonata versus Evil final, where Evil wins the New Japan Cup again.
God almighty.
And then we get Evil versus Naito. They've not done Evil versus Naito post-pandemic. You know they love to do it, and they love to see it.
They will.
Yeah.
All the brackets.
I know Evil's got the Never title, but who cares? Because it's disgusting, so it could happen.
It is disgusting. But not for nothing, I feel like that's if you were to say Sonata, or what is it, Sonata Evil, and Evil winning New Japan Cup versus David Finlay, Zach winning the cup, I would say that your scenario is more likely to happen than mine.
But the important thing is we're in agreement that none of the Three Musketeers are sniffing anywhere near this upper end of the tournament. Yeah.
I don't have any of them. Yeah, I don't have any of them. I'm looking back just to make sure. I mean, I did have Shota in the quarterfinals, but New Japan took care of that for me very early.
You fool! You boob!
I am a boob. That is boob like. Yep. I was made a fool of once again. But taking. I know I'm not going to do it because Dan hates it when I have to send over 3 files and he's got fucking. So I'm not going to do the soundboard. But thank you for doing it. Yeah.
No, that was me singing Shota Umino's entrance music.
Oh, really? I thought it was
sad tone.
I thought it was just.
I mean, it may as well. That may as well be his entrance music at this point.
Really? Yeah. No, I don't have no one else moving on or at least making it past the second round. And that was the test, right? I wanted to see one person at least make it to the quarterfinals. Not according to my brackets. Not according to my brackets. And again,
Not on our watch.
not on our watch. But again, I did have one go to the quarterfinals because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, that has to happen. But that was taken care of very quickly by the company, very quickly to make sure Jack Perry got a big win. So there you go.
Man, just looking at my quarterfinal brackets: Sonado against Jack Perry, David Finlay against Hiroki Goto, Evil versus Shingo, ELP versus Zack. That is the kind of insipid, uninspired booking that we've come to know and love from New Japan Pro Wrestling. So I cannot wait.
How are you gonna Okay, so this we're joking a lot with these brackets, and we're kind of going over our picks. And again, nothing is carved in stone, obviously, with these picks. These are our picks, and we're kind of using past experience when it comes to this moving forward. In either scenario, I mean, trust me, I would be very thrilled with the Zack win, and hopefully we're moving on. Does anything thrill you yet? Because they're not going to do Zack Taichi, right? We'll just say they don't. What else is on the table here that I'm supposed to get a fucking boner over?
Okay, right. Let me. Scott says, "What's your ideal Final Four in the New Japan Cup?" Forget about bracket plausibility, guys. Ready for some spotlight or overdue for a push? If you're giving me the book, then I can book whoever I want to go as deep as I want. So we're having Yoshihashi's eliminated Sonata, so fuck off Sonata. He's out of there. We're sticking with Jack Perry. So Yoshihashi against Jack Perry. Yoshihashi in the semi-final. He's a much better wrestler than Jack Perry, so yeah, Yoshihashi. Okay, I'm sticking Finlay Okan. I like that. I'm going Okan. Let's let Okan go a little bit deeper. Ishii is beating Chase Owens. Ishii's beating Goto, so I've got Ishii versus Great Okan in my other quarterfinal. Then Oleg Boltin, he is going very, very deep. So he's beating Hikuleo, he's beating Evil. So he's out of those three, Evil, Hikuleo, Oleg Boltin. Boltin is much more exciting to me. So yeah, Boltin there. Then there's a lot to pick from here. Shingo, Yuya, Callum Newman, Gabe. Let's go. Gabe, yeah, let's put Gabe. I like Gabe. He's a madman, you know. Then in the other quadrant, so out of Suji, Cobb, ELP, Mikey Nichols, Suji, obviously, he's the most compelling out of those four. Then Taichi, Ren, and Zack. I'm going Taichi. So so if you're handing Joel the book here, then my exciting quarterfinal lineup is Yoshihashi versus Jack Perry, Great Okan versus Ishii, Oleg Boltin against Gabe Kidd, and Yotsuji versus Taichi, which these could happen, right? There's a non-zero chance of this happening. And then, okay, Yoshihashi versus Jack Perry. Yeah, Yoshihashi's going through. So Yoshihashi's in my final. Ishii versus Great Okan. I kind of put myself into a bit of a corner here. Great Okan's going on a run. Strap yourself in. So then we've got Oleg Boltin against Gabe Kidd. We've got Gabe Kidd going through there to the semi. And then Yotsuji versus Taichi. I do love Yota, but Taichi is more of a sort of... he's a better wrestler at this point, obviously, in his career. So then Yoshihashi versus Great Okan, Gabe Kidd versus Taichi in my semi-finals. Is that better? It's kind of messy and disgusting, but I quite like it. Maybe I should have put Finlay back in. Is Finlay a better wrestler than Great Okan?
Yeah.
What am I talking about? What has this become? I don't know what's going on anymore, Damon. I don't like it. Can you please take the microphone away from me and you talk?
I think if I got what I wanted, I would have a second round match of Taichi. Quite honestly, if I really got what I wanted, I would move those brackets out of the way. You know what I mean? Like I don't want those guys meeting until preferably like semifinals. Like, just move the
I
brackets
think it
around.
just speaks volumes about how shit these brackets are, particularly the left side. That Yoshihashi versus Great Khan was the most interesting semi-final I could come up with.
Right. And like we're either going to get Ren versus Zach, or we're going to get Taichi versus Zach, and that's like a second round match, and that could be, I don't know. It just seems like the brackets are fucking weird. Like, why would you do that? I don't have a problem with Finley over Okan and going deep. Sonata, I would be thrilled if Yoshihashi pulled out the upset. Look, Jack Perry. Like, in the second round, we're rooting for Yano, which is preposterous. But that's the world we live in. Because if not, you're looking at a quarterfinal with Jack fucking Perry.
I think from the way the brackets are set up, the best final I could come up with is probably Finley against. Well, you could take your pick from the right hand side of the bracket. For my personal enjoyment, Taichi. I'd go Finley Taichi. Would that be good? I think that would be good.
I think it has the possibility of being good. That matchup scares me as a final. I'm not going to lie.
Yes. Yeah. But again, this is off the leash, crazy booking. We can book whatever we want, and this is why I'm not a booker. So,
well, I think we're doing a better
these
job.
names have sort of ceased to mean anything to me anymore. It's all just the words are kind of spinning and blurring on this page at this point.
I think given the way the brackets have laid out and trying to be somewhat logical, I think a David Finley Zach main event might be pretty good. So whatever, we'll figure it out. But yeah, talking about it didn't put me in any much of a better mood. I got to be honest with you. Unless, like I said, unless they just go fucking...
this New Japan Cup already.
Right, it stinks. Unless they just go fucking crazy, and there's a lot more goofiness and just they just fucking threw caution to the wind and said, all right, fuck it. Let's just have some fun with it. Instead of we're trying to predict their booking patterns and their who looks like is getting pushes and who, what? I wish they did. I wish they did the whole fucking ping pong ball thing at this point and just said, okay, hopefully you got your number picked. Up, you win. Up, you lose. And we just do it that way instead of having someone actually sitting there with these brackets in front of them and having any real direction. I want it to be randomness because the problem is I don't want to sit there and point my finger at someone and be like, this is your fucking fault. you did this. And I just want it to be random and at least I can have some joy in that.
Okay, I like it. Mo Promo says, what first round puck match are you looking forward to the most and least? How about that 6-0? Wow, Arsenal just absolute rampant form right now. Nice. We are destroying everyone in our path. What am I most looking forward to? I don't. Probably.
Good. Tsuji
versus Jeff Cobb or Shingo versus Yuya. I think those are nice matches, and I'm excited about those. Someone else has asked. Matthew says, "Can I have a cheeky twofer? Who are the Super J-Cast tag team of 2023, and what was the top tag match?" So the tag team of the year, first place was Bishamon, 654 points. In second place, Catch 22, 592. So pretty close. And then the dream team of Ishii, Tanahashi, and Redacted with 456 points. And the highest rated tag team match of the year was Desperado and Jun Kasai against John Moxley and Homicide from Independence Day.
Wow.
So that got 32 points. Just a shade above Bishamon versus Okada Tanahashi. Should have just kept up the gimmick and said Redacted Tanahashi. That got 29 points. And Bishamon versus Aussie Open from Sakura Genesis, that got 22 points. Catch 2-2 versus Doki and Kanemaru from New Beginning got 19 points. So there was some pretty solid tag team representation. There were 15 points for Okada Tanahashi Ishii versus Henare Cobb and Okan from the the Christmas shows.
Yeah, that was good.
Blackpool Combat Club against the Dream Team from Dominion, that got 12 points. So yeah, some good tag stuff.
I'm surprised. Like, so that would have meant somebody put those matches in their top 3 of the year because we don't have a separate tag match category,
Correct.
right? Well,
Yeah.
maniacs.
They get there on their own merit. And I did float you the idea of doing a separate category for tag match, but you, and I think quite rightly, said, no, if it's good enough, it will make the shortlist. And I think that is a fair reflection of how good those matches were.
Yep, no doubt. Okay, nice job. All right, so that's the Cupperoo. Needless to say, we are on pins and needles. Actually, I think we've made it more exciting because of the things that we're afraid of, as opposed to anything that we're looking forward to. I think we're watching these shows in absolute panic. We are watching these shows in a panic.
Sideshow Bob with all the garden rakes around him.
Yes, great analogy. That's where we are. That's as of Wednesday, March 6th, show 300. Boy, spirits are high.
Can we get down to close out the show with Spirit in the Sky?
Nice.
I think that'll be appropriate, yeah. Right, that'll do it. Bye, everyone. redcircle.com/shows/super-j-car. I'm tired. I'm not going to do the rest of it. See you next week, folks. Enjoy. Bye.
Hi, my name is Tyler Fornes, and I am the co-host of The Good, the Bad, and the Hunky here on the Voice of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Every week, my co-host Fred Moreland and I discuss all the happenings of All Elite Wrestling and everything going on in the universe of Tony Khan. We talk about Dynamite, we talk about Rampage, and we will talk about Collision when the time comes as well, along with all the appearances outside of AEW from all the best talents in All Elite Wrestling. This is one of the more cohesive wrestling companies in the entire world, and we discuss every intricacy about it, including the unique booking of Tony Khan that is both a huge positive and a major detriment. Check us out every single Thursday here on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network.
Hello there, my name's Neil David and I'm the host of Eurograps Express, the podcast exclusively dedicated to the wrestling of Europe. If it's wrestling and it happens in Europe and it's good, we talk about it. Whether it's RevPro, Progress, WXW, Passion Pro, Pro Wrestling Chaos, Pro Wrestling North, we don't care, we talk about them all. If it's good and it's exciting, I want to share it with you. We're on the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Check us out on the feed. Check us out on Twitter at EuroGrapsEXP. And join us for chat about European wrestling and a little bit of chat about cheese. Hopefully see you there.